Okay, now today we are going to focus on Azure Active Directory. We'll discuss what is Azure Active Directory, how it works, how to create users, how to create groups under Azure Active Directory. Azure AD. Then we'll understand how to create a guest users, how to provide the permission on subscription level, how to configure the custom domain, and how we can synchronize a Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory. Windows AD with the Azure Active Directory by using the Azure AD Connect. And we'll discuss one more Azure service, which is Azure AD Domain Services, which is comes under PaaS service. Okay, platform as a service here. Now we need to add one more point here. How to create Azure Active Directory tenant. Okay. Then once we discuss users, then we'll understand how to configure MFA on user level. Okay. So let's start. We'll understand the Azure Active Directory architecture, and then we'll understand how we can create Azure Active Directory, how we can create a users groups MFA. So let's go into the. Okay, so if you remember, like initially we have discussed some basic part of Azure Active Directory, right? How the architecture we have discussed. So the same point we are going to discuss today as well. cloudtechnopune@outlook.com. So this is my email address, and by using that email address, I have created the account on Azure portal. Okay, so this is the email address which is unique, and by using that email address, I have created the account on Microsoft Azure portal. So during the account creation, what Microsoft has created one Azure Active Directory in the backend. So this is a default behavior. So when you create a free account, when you create an enterprise account, when you create any account on Microsoft portal, by default, Microsoft is going to create one Azure Active Directory in the backend. So this is the Azure Active Directory, which is default Active Directory. Okay, this is Azure Active Directory, which is default. Okay, so why Microsoft is creating the Azure Active Directory? The reason here is by using that Azure Active Directory, we can provide the permissions to users, we can create the groups, we can create a conditional policies, means all the identity management we can perform by using the Azure Active Directory. Now there is one more point I wanted to highlight related Windows Active Directory and Azure Active Directory. There is no Azure Active Directory is not a replacement of Windows Active Directory. So Windows Active Directory is specifically people are using for the on-premises infrastructure management, right? So by using the Windows Active Directory, you can manage users, groups, computers, laptop, devices, printers, group policies. You can perform it into the on-premises. But when you talk on a Microsoft Azure cloud, so Azure, if you wanted to provide any identity management or mechanism, so we need to use Azure Active Directory. So Azure Active Directory is not a replacement of Windows Active Directory. This is the first point. Okay, so when we create any account on Microsoft portal, Microsoft is creating one Azure Active Directory, and that Azure Active Directory is getting created with the default name, default domain name, and that domain name is .on Microsoft.com. So this is the default parent domain name which Microsoft is offering. So when you create any account on Microsoft portal, like free account or paid account, so one Azure Active Directory is getting created automatically. So let's go into the portal, go to home, go to Azure Active Directory. Active Directory, and under Azure Active Directory, see, this is the default directory, and the directory is getting created during the account creation. Okay, so this is the parent domain. Okay, see, this is the primary domain on Microsoft.com. So before on Microsoft.com, Microsoft has created one more child domain at Microsoft end, which is cloudtechnopune.outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So this is the combination of my email address. So what is my email address? My email address is cloudtechnopune@outlook.com. So by using that particular name, Microsoft has created the child domain. See, cloudtechnopune.outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So this is the name. This is the my domain name. So go to, okay. So this is Azure Active Directory, and by using Azure Active Directory, Microsoft has created one tenant. So this is the default tenant, which is cloudtechnopune.outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So this is my domain now. And under that domain, I can create a users, I can create a groups, I can create a policies. So this is my domain, which Microsoft is offering. So under that, we can have user 1, we can have user 2, can have user 3 as well. So we'll understand the scenario, like in which scenario people are using the Azure Active Directory. So let's take up example. You have created one account, account on Microsoft portal to configure the Office 365 product. Okay, so this is the Office 365 is the product, and Office 365 product comes under SaaS, software as a service. So there are multiple products Microsoft is offering which is comes under SaaS. So when you talk on a Microsoft products or any third-party SaaS products, if you wanted to integrate with the Microsoft Azure infrastructure, so those products needs to be integrated with Azure Active Directory only. So if you do not have any Azure Active Directory component, those products you cannot use it. So this is a prerequisites. Let's take an example. You wanted to deploy Office 365, or you wanted to migrate your on-prem exchange to Office 365. So in such scenarios, your Azure Active Directory is required. So without Azure Active Directory, you will not able to configure the Office 365 component. So your Office 365 component is getting configured or integrated with the Azure Active Directory, and by using the Azure Active Directory, you can do the authentication with your users. Okay, so any confusion till any doubt, any question till? Okay, so those users we have created here. Now once your account is getting created, under that account Microsoft is going to provide one subscription. Now I'm talking on free subscription which you are using in your infrastructure. So this is a free subscription. Free subscription. Okay, and under the subscription again we can have a resource groups. Under the resource groups we can deploy the resources. So this is resource group, this is resource group, this is resource group. See RG1, RG2, RG3, and under resource group we can deploy the resources like virtual machine as a resource, storage account as a resource, network as a resource, firewall as a resource. So this is virtual machine, then firewall, then VNet or storage account. Storage account. So those resources we can create under the resource group. Under the subscription, we are going to create a resource group, and the subscription we need to deploy under the Azure Active Directory. So this is a dependency. So without resource group, we cannot deploy the resources. Without subscription, we cannot have the resource group. Without Azure Active Directory, we cannot create a subscription, and without account, we cannot have the Azure Active Directory. So this is a default tenant we are talking. Okay, so let's take a one scenario, which is first scenario. This is Azure infrastructure. and that particular infrastructure is getting created under the East US, Azure East US. So as an infrastructure, you have created servers, Windows machines, Linux machines, you have created your deployed application, and your infrastructure is running, your applications are running from that particular Azure infrastructure. And now there is a one component which is Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory, Azure AD. So this is a ABC customer. This is a ABC customer, and you're working as a ISP. Let's see. Wipro. Okay, so Wipro here acting as a ISP, and that Wipro wanted to provide the complete infrastructure support to the ABC company, and Wipro having here a cloud team. Okay, so they wanted to provide the support to the ABC company. So what is the best practice? Because if you all, let's see here 10 people, so you require 10 accounts as well to manage the infrastructure. So there are multiple ways to configure the account. There are multiple scenarios. So we are going to discuss the first scenario where what ABC company will do. ABC company will create a 10 accounts under Azure Active Directory. Into the first scenario, ABC company will create a 10 accounts, user 1 to user 10, user 10 under the Azure Active Directory. So what is our domain now? So this is our domain. So under that domain, your client can create a 10 IDs, and those ID can be shared with your end user to manage the Azure infrastructure. Is clear or any question till? Any doubt till?
So this will be under ABC company's AD, right?
Yes. This is a user 1. Yeah, user 1 @ cloudtechnopune.outlook.onmicrosoft.com. So that ABC company will create a 10 users, user 1 to user 10, and they will provide the passwords as well with the MFA, and your Wipro team can work on that particular infrastructure. So any question till, any doubt? Okay. So with the user, what ABC company can do, ABC company can create a one group as well. So let's take an example. Wipro Azure L3. This is the group name. Okay. And under that group, they can add all the users. Okay. So this is a first task. This is a first scenario where ABC company will create a users, user 1, user 2, user 3 under the default domain. So this is a default domain, and by using that domain, your ABC company can manage the identity management. Okay, because your ABC company will not provide a single ID and single password, right, to Wipro team, right? So as per compliance, you should have a multiple IDs and password. Okay, and then they can provide the support on that particular infrastructure. Now it's clear or any question? Okay, so let's go into the portal. We'll discuss how we can create a users, and then again we'll understand the next scenario. So this is the my portal. Go to here, search the Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory. And under Azure Active Directory, you will get option as a one user. Okay, so under the user, again you will get two options, new user and new guest user. So we need to understand the difference between two options, new user and new guest user. So as we discuss into the diagram, right, my ABC company will create 10 users under that particular domain. But again, I have second scenario as well. Into the second scenario, ABC company is not going to create 10 users under the Azure Active Directory. So what ABC company can do here, ABC company can provide the permission on Wipro ID. Let's take an example, user1@wipro.com. So this is the email address of that particular user. User2, or we can say admin here. Admin1, admin2, admin3. Admin2 and admin3. Admin3. So instead of creating the accounts under the Cloud Techno Pune Outlook.on Microsoft.com domain, your ABC company is providing the permission on existing account, okay, which is created under the Wipro.com. So what is the benefit you will get when you provide the permission on existing account which is created under the Wipro.com? So any guess, any idea? So now we have two scenario. In first scenario, ABC company is creating the account under the default domain. In second scenario, ABC company is providing the permission on existing account which is already created under the Wipro.com domain. So what is the difference between two scenario, or any guess here? So what is the benefit you will get into the second scenario? Okay, so let's take a scenario, first scenario. Into the first scenario, when ABC company is creating the users under the Azure Active Directory, that Azure Active Directory is holding the ID and password. That Azure Active Directory is holding the user ID and password. So all the authentication mechanism, okay, worked by that particular Azure Active Directory into the first scenario. But into the second scenario, if you provide the permission, okay, on existing account, right, I have provided the permission here, right? Admin1@wipro.com means when that user is going to log in into the portal, the request is getting forwarded to the wipro.com domain. Means Azure Active Directory will not hold the ID and password. Just you have added here as a guest account. So that user is trying to log in here into the portal by using the admin1@wipro.com. So it will hit on Azure Active Directory, and again your Azure Active Directory will communicate with the wipro.com for the authentication. Wipro.com domain. Okay, it will hit on wipro.com domain, and your ID and password will get authenticate from the wipro.com. So in second scenario, your Azure Active Directory is not holding the ID and password. The complete authentication will done from wipro.com domain only. So it's clear, or any question? Any question?
So in actual production scenario, which one is recommended? Like
So
what is followed?
yeah. So into the actual scenario, let's take an example. You are working with the small customer. The first scenario is the preferred. Like customer can manage the ID and password. Okay. The second scenario also, which is preferred, but into the industry, people are using the third scenario, which we have not discussed till. Okay, which is AD integration, Active Directory integration. So into our scenario, our lab, we have very few users, right? Only 10 users. Yeah. But let's take an example. I wanted to provide the permission on 1,000 users. So are you going to create 1,000 users under the Azure Active Directory? No. So in such scenarios, we need to synchronize Windows Active Directory users ID and password with the Azure Active Directory.
Okay.
Okay, so it's clear, or any question? It's very important to understand.
Yogesh, Swapnil here.
Yes, Swapnil.
When you are explaining about the second scenario, right? You mean Azure AD does not hold the credentials of the user which we create, yeah?
Exactly.
But you does it mean that because in Azure AD you can see the password reset option.
No, that password reset option in which scenario you can use if you are going to synchronize Windows Active Directory with Azure Active Directory in that scenario. Let me explain. Okay, let's go into the portal. Yeah, see this. I have one user which is created under the Azure Active Directory. See, this is the identity, right? Dilip @cloudtechnopune.outlook.onmicrosoft.com. I can click here and simply I can reset the password. But when you synchronize your Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory, so by default that particular option you will get the grayed out. You need to enable that option. Okay. So once you enable that option from Azure AD Connect, I will show you that option as well today. Okay, how to configure it. So once you enable that feature, then you can reset the password from the Azure Active Directory as well. And there is a one more option you need to enable, which is write back. What is write back? Means if you change the password from Azure portal, that updated password is getting replicated with the Windows Active Directory. Okay. So till clear or any question is very important. See, identity management is very important because you are going to enhance the security by using the multiple features which Microsoft is providing under the Azure infrastructure. Okay, till clear?
Okay, I have one more question maybe.
Yes.
Because I'm giving you some real examples from my existing organization.
Right.
We already had, traditional Active Directory, and later on we opt for this Azure AD.
Okay.
So in this scenario, I had two usernames. The one which you shown just now, that on Microsoft.com, and the one which is traditional one.
With the domain name.
With the domain name.
Yeah, with your custom domain name, right?
Right.
I got it.
So which scenario it could be? Because I have in those cases two usernames or something like that.
Exactly. So that particular scenario you will get when you integrate Office 365 product. Okay, because see, when you configure the Office 365, you are not going to use a default domain which is on Microsoft.com. Right. Let's take an example. In my scenario, I have one registered domain which is cloudtechno.co.in, and I wanted to configure the Office 365 product. Okay. So in such scenarios, I need to add my custom domain. Okay, I need to add my custom domain here. See, this is my Azure Active Directory, and under Azure Active Directory, you will get option as a custom domain, and then you need to add here your custom domain. In my scenario, my custom domain is cloudtechno.co.in. Okay, so we will not discuss complete here, but just I wanted to use some overview. So by using those options, I can add a custom domain. It is not verified. I need to verify and then we can add it. But this is the procedure. So once you verified, it will show here available. Okay. So after that, you can create a user under that domain as well. Okay. So we'll not discuss here custom domain. Let me delete it. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah. Now let's go into the user. We'll create a one normal user first. Go to Azure Active Directory. Users. Okay. So instead of wipro.com, I can provide the permission on your Gmail ID as well. Okay. Gmail.com. Okay. So I can use your Gmail account and I can provide the permission as a guest account to you. Okay. So let's go into the portal and create a user, new user. So Microsoft is asking for new user or invited user. So invited user is nothing but a guest user. So if I provide the permission to you on your Gmail account, you will get the one invite from my side. You need to accept that invite. And after that, you can use your Gmail account, Gmail ID to log in into the Microsoft portal. Okay. So let's discuss on first scenario, which is create account, user 100, and currently I have only one domain, which is my default Azure Active Directory domain, cloudtechnopune@outlook.onmicrosoft.com. User 10, password. Okay, now is very important. So auto generated password. So this is the auto generated password Microsoft is offering. Okay, and you can have your own password as well. Okay, you need to configure the own password, but in both scenario, when you log in the first time, Microsoft will ask to change the password. Okay, in both scenario. So I'm going to use as a auto generated password. Okay, now the next option is very important, group and role. So do you want to add that particular user in under any group? So you can select the group as well. So we'll discuss that scenario as well. Okay, now role is again very important. Okay, so let's compare with Windows Active Directory first, and then you will get the understanding on Azure Active Directory roles. MS Paint. Okay, so this is my on-prem infrastructure, and I have Active Directory infrastructure. Multiple AD servers I have in a single forest or single domain. This is all the extended domain controllers I have. Okay, so this is my Active Directory infrastructure, and domain name is lab.com. lab.com. Okay, so when you join new company, your admin team is going to create a one account for you, right? So which permission you will get when you join into the company? Let's take an example. You join Wipro company, and Wipro admin team has created one Active Directory account for you, right? So which permissions you will get on that particular account? Any idea?
Domain user.
Exactly, domain user. You will get only the domain user. Okay. So if you get the domain user as a permission, so you cannot perform any task, right? Even though you will not able to log in Active Directory as well, right? You will not able to log in into the Active Directory as well. But just single identity is getting created, domain user. Okay. And by using that Windows Active Directory account, you will get the email access, you will get the on-premises portal access as well. Okay, so we'll discuss that scenario as well. So this is a default role, right? This is a default role, means you cannot log in into the Windows Active Directory, or you cannot play with the Windows Active Directory. You cannot play with the lab.com because you are the domain user. Let's take an example. There is a one more permission, which is domain admin. So if you get the domain admin, then what you can do? You can play with the Windows Active Directory, right? You can play with the Windows Active Directory. With the same way, when you create an account under the Azure Active Directory, this is a default role, which is user. So user role you can compare with the domain user. Means if I provide the permission, okay, as a user, so user 100 cannot play with the Azure Active Directory. So the basic options you will get when you provide the permission as a user. But if you wanted to provide a full permission on Azure Active Directory, then role needs to be changed. So which role we need to provide here? Which is global admin. So global admin is a very important role. Okay. So for the lab purpose, I'm not going to provide a global admin. I will create a one more user with the global admin permission, and then we will do the comparison. Okay. So I'm going to provide here normal user. Okay. So let's create a user. So user is getting created. User 100 @cloudtechnopune@outlook.com. Sure. So let me have one more browser, and we'll log in by user by particular that user. Azure 100. So this is my user ID. This is my user ID, and this is the password. So Azure portal, go to portal. and try to log in using the user 100 account. User 100, next, and this is a default generated password. See, Microsoft is asking to change the password because this is the default policy. Okay, so this is the default password, this is the new password. Sign in. Okay, so now I have logged in using the user 100 account. Okay, now let's go into the Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory. See, this is Azure Active Directory, which is default AD. See, you can use a few options, but you cannot use the some advanced option like security. You cannot use. It is showing all the grayed out, right? So users, see under user, so you cannot create a user because you having the normal user permissions, right? So any question till in doubt?
Yogesh, where we can see the roles of, I mean, which kind of roles you are assigned to?
Okay, so let's go into the other window. So under profile only we can see the required role. Okay, still it is not replicating here. User type, okay. We should see here only. Okay, let me refresh.
Okay.
Okay, let me refresh once. Okay. Okay, let's wait some time. Okay, it will show here only. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, so this is the user 10 and user 100, and user 100 is logged in, okay, by portal, and user 10 can log in into the portal. And let's go into the next thing, which is subscription. So user 10 cannot see any subscription. Why? What is the reason? Because we have provided the permission under the Azure Active Directory. So let's go into our first diagram. So we have created the accounts only under the Azure Active Directory. Okay, we have created one account, right, which is user 100. User 100. So we have not provided the permission on subscription level. So let's take one more scenario from your existing company, existing infrastructure. You have joined the new company, right? So your Wipro team has created one Windows AD account for you. Okay, but after 2 days or after 3 days, you will get the permissions on other internal portals, right? So what application team is going to do in that scenario? Application team is using the AD account, AD ID, okay, and application team is providing the permission under that particular application. Let's see your travel management, your leave management portal, okay, you're the multiple portals, okay, internally. So your application team is providing the permission to that particular ID, and then you can use the same ID, same password to use that particular application or portal, right? So with the same way, Azure as well, once you create the account under the Azure Active Directory, you need to provide the permission on subscription level as well. Okay, so there are two roles you need to define. So on Azure Active Directory level, this is the normal user, but I can provide a permission as a owner on subscription level, because you are going to work for my infrastructure, you are going to manage my infrastructure, my Azure infrastructure, and you are going to work as a Azure L3 right? So when we say L3, I have to provide the complete permission. I have to provide the full rights, full permission. So that user, I can provide the permission under the Azure Active Directory as a user, but on a subscription level, I can provide the permission as a owner. So it's clear or any question? So two permissions you need to understand. So first permission on a Windows Active Directory level, second permission on a subscription level. So on Azure Active Directory level, which we have discussed, which is normal user, when we provide the permission on subscription level, then we'll discuss what is owner, what is co-admin. So any question, any doubt till?
When you provide the owner membership for the subscription, still that user is unable to manage Azure AD because
Exactly.
still he is a domain user.
Exactly. Yes. See, now again, you need to understand one more scenario. So let's take an example. I'm going to hire one person, and that person is going to work for only the Azure Active Directory. Okay, एक मैंने बंदे को hire किया, and that particular person is going to work on only the Azure Active Directory. Okay, so that person is not going to manage my servers. That person is not going to manage my Azure services. So I will not provide the permission on subscription level. I will provide the permission on only the Azure Active Directory level with the global admin. That user can log in into the portal, and that user can play with the all options of Azure Active Directory. Right? It's clear or any question? Swapnil, any question till? Irfan,
but Yogesh, when you provide when you provide him access as a global user,
global admin
means global admin. So it means he can manage your whole Azure AD. Okay, means in that he can use subscription as well. He can create resource group as well.
No. So you need to understand two different concept. First concept कि आपका ID create हुआ है. Okay, let's take up one more scenario. So आपने Wipro company join किया, right? On a first day, your Wipro admin team has created one account for you into the Active Directory, right? So आपका account create होने के बाद you cannot use the email, you cannot use the internal portal. Why? Because अब तक आपको access ही नहीं दिया है, right? So आपको हर एक लेवल पे एक्सेस मिलेगा, हर एक application level पे, and then you can use those applications with the same way that user 100 got the access on a Azure Active Directory level, not on a subscription level.
Okay, means either we created as a domain user or global admin user, still we have to give owner role for subscription.
Exactly. Yes. So Azure Active Directory level के जो permissions है वो AD manage करने के लिए permissions है, either normal user or either global user, right? So आपके पास ये भी सिनेरियो हो सकता है कि आपके टीम में एक बंदे ने ज्वाइन किया, ओके, एंड ही इज गोइंग टू वर्क एज अ L3 Azure. Okay, so the global admin permission not required on Azure Active Directory level, but the complete permission required on subscription level, so that admin will manage your Azure infrastructure. It's clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Swapnil, any question till?
Yeah, I mean, if I understood it well, then it is as good as you are creating a normal user in Active Directory.
Yes.
And then providing him access on Exchange or in traditional way. In traditional way, I mean to say.
Yes.
Exchange or any other.
जो आपके internal portals है, internal जो applications, UA management, your travel management, because the maximum people are using the same ID, right? And after that you can use a single sign-on, right? So your admin team is not going to create a multiple account for multiple applications, right? So this is a single ID and single password. Means all the applications are integrated with the Windows Active Directory. All the applications are taking the ID and password and authentication from the Windows Active Directory, right? So if your ID is getting locked, okay, or disabled under the Azure, under the Windows Active Directory, what will happen? you will not able to log in to any portal, right? Any application.
Right.
So the same concept you need to compare with the Azure Active Directory.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah. Any question till Pallavi?
Yes, Yogesh, just one question. So अभी हमें अगर इसका लैब करना है Azure Active Directory का, तो हमें एक्चुअल एक डोमेन खरीद के फिर उस पर प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, या हम कोई सैम्पल डोमेन बना के उसमें यूजर्स क्रिएट कर सकते हैं? मतलब आपका तो ये क्लाउड टेक्नो पुणे, this is your own domain, right?
See. So what you can do, if you do not have any custom domain, you can perform 60 to 70% lab. Okay. So as per our track sheet, see, you can perform all the labs, but you cannot synchronize Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory because that particular lab required a custom domain. Your custom domain needs to be added under the Azure portal. Okay. So it's a very simple. आप क्या करो, go to the godaddy.com, एक कोई भी एक डोमेन परचेस कर लो जो आपको 99 रुपीज में मिलेगा. Okay. तो वो डोमेन, so when you purchase the domain, you will get the control panel as well from godaddy.com, where you can manage the DNS. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. So let's go into the next point. So now first account we have created under the Azure Active Directory. Let's create one more account. Go to the Azure Active Directory. Go to the users. User 200, or let's see 101. Under the same domain, auto-generated password. This is the password. Okay, now I'm going to provide the global admin permission. There is one more permission, which is reader. Directory reader. Okay, so that user can read the settings only. Global admin and create it. So user 100, user 101. This is the ID. Okay, so let's go into the other browser, log off, and we'll log in by using the other account, sign out. So this is the password. Okay, so this is user 101. Go to Azure Active Directory. See that user 101 can perform all the options. Okay, all the options are visible. But user 101 can play with all the options. Okay, so let's log off and we'll understand how we can create a groups and how to add those users under the group. It's very simple, like your Windows Active Directory only. So go to the groups, and now I'm going to create one group here. So the group type will be the security group. I'm not going to create a group for the Office 65. So the group is created for the Azure infrastructure. So let's see Wipro Azure L3 team. Okay. So the same description, membership signed, and let's create a group here. So we have created one group here, right? And we can go into the group, go to the members. Okay. So one more point I wanted to highlight, which is very important. So by default, you are going to deal with the free Azure Active Directory. Okay, you are going to deal with the free Azure Active Directory, but in my scenario, I am using the Premium 3, which is paid version of Azure Active Directory. Okay, if you go into the Azure Active Directory option, see, I am using here Azure Active Directory Premium P2, which is paid. But in your scenario, you can compare, you will get the free license as a free. Okay, so under the free, you can perform the basic task. Okay, you can have the basic functionality. Okay, if you wanted to use a advanced functionality, then you need to convert your Azure Active Directory fee to premium one, means P1 or P2 as per your requirement or as per your budget. So when you enable that particular feature, so around 1200 rupees, okay, you have to pay on monthly basis. So any question till, any doubt till?
Yogesh, the question which is asked by Swapnil,
Yes.
the answer is here. You can see there your role as a global administrator. I think for user 101, it will show as a domain user. I think here itself in tenant information, it will show.
No, under tenant, let me check users. No,
See,
this is creation.
where you see where you check that license type in that about that your role as a global administrator here is showing.
No. This is my role. No. Global admin means this is my role. Okay, I logged in by using the cloud techno pune @outlook.com.
Okay, if you log in with 100 or 101.
So that we need to check. Yes. That
Yeah.
we need to check.
For
Okay,
that time thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but see what Swapnil was asking, like from admin console panel where we can check it, because let's take an example. I'm working as an admin L3. Okay, and I have provided the permission to Swapnil. Okay, so if I wanted to check from my side, so that option we need to check. Okay.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we have created two users, user 100 and user 101, and now we'll understand how we can add a guest user. Okay, so let's go into the users and create a new guest user. Okay, so let's take an example. This is user 100. So what I need to do, I need to provide some email address. So I have one account. Let me try with the my account, or can you please share your email address, Outlook ID, so I can provide the permission to you as well. Swapnil, do you have any Outlook ID?
You mean my official ID, you mean?
No. Outlook means your personal ID, personal email address with the Outlook. If you can ping me on WhatsApp.
Okay, I do that. Hello, Yogesh, my phone is with my kid, so I'll text you here.
Okay.
Just a minute. You need Outlook wala, right?
Yes, Outlook wala. Yes. Because when we use Outlook, so it will integrate, right? When you use Gmail, so might be it will take some 1 hour to 2 hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything which you mean to say like for Hotmail or something like that, right?
Hotmail also will work.
Right. Or live ID. You mean to say live?
Yes.
Just a minute. Can you write here SW Kulkarni @live.com?
So we'll give as a SW. Okay. Invite. Okay. So again, same options you will get. Okay. So which permission you wanted to provide? Okay, and which group you wanted to. So I have created one group, right? So I'm going to add a particular user under the Wipro group. Profile 3, select. It's invite. Can you please log in into your email live.com? You will get one invitation. Yeah, and you need to accept that invitation. See, this is a difference. This is the guest user and this is a directory member.
So you created a new guest user, not invite.
Yes. So I have created user. So this is the invited user only. Okay. So I have added your existing account.
Okay. Can you please click new guest user once? Okay, it already by default it is selecting invite user.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just try to log in your account, accept the invite, okay, and try to log in into the Microsoft portal by using the same ID. Or you can share your screen, Swapnil, if you can.
Just a minute, I'm logging in. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. For example, you have created one user. I can see there you have created one Dilip. Okay.
Right.
Suppose he is a admin user. Okay. Means you have given global admin, and you also given means subscription access as well.
Okay.
To him.
Right.
And he's using he's creating a resource group and he's doing everything for a lab or for personal thing. Okay. So anything he's using and the bill is getting generated. So how it is means it is.
So that bill, So that bill is getting generated under my account only.
Okay, means there are 10 users and all 10 are using different resource groups. Means the bill is generating only one. Okay.
Yes. Because you are going to log in into the single Azure Active Directory. Just try to understand. आप जो लॉगिन कर रहे हैं, आप किसको लॉगिन कर रहे हैं? सिंगल Azure Active Directory को लॉगिन कर रहे हैं, right? So let me have one more scenario for you. Okay, so let's take an example. You have subscription, right? Okay, so user 100 is getting created here, and I have provided, because see billing you will get on subscription level, right? आपका जो bill generate होगा वो कौन से level पे होने वाला है? Generate subscription level. Right. Okay, so your user 100 is acting as a normal user. Okay, but user 100 is acting as a here owner.
Correct.
@ your domain. Okay. Now, so let's take an example. I have one more subscription. Okay, don't confuse. I have one more subscription, which is a as you go subscription. Okay. I have created one more user under the Azure Active Directory because I cannot create a user under the subscription level. User can be created on Azure Active Directory level, right?
Yes.
So I have created one more user, which is user 200. So again, same thing, user 200 will be the user. Okay. And I'm going to provide a permission to user 200 on another subscription level. User 200. So if your user 200 is creating some resources, so bill is getting generated on that subscription level. आपका bill यहाँ पे generate होगा. Okay. If user 100 is creating some resources, the bill is getting generated here.
Okay.
Okay. Now see, so both subscription are consuming the same Azure Active Directory.
Correct.
ये दोनों subscription है, एक ही Azure Active Directory के part है. I can show you into the portal. See, this is my Azure this is my subscription. Let's go into the subscription. And subscription, this is my visual. Okay, I have also two subscription. Let me show you. Okay, so I have two subscription. This is my Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. Okay, and this is my pay as you go subscription. Okay. Correct. So that particular subscription I'm getting from the Microsoft to demonstrate the labs. Okay. So
Gotcha.
Go to the subscription. See, what is the directory here? Same directory, right?
Correct.
Go to the another subscription, which is my production subscription. See, the same directory. Okay.
Okay.
So Yogesh, you want to see the screen, or
yes,
I can just accept the invitation?
Yes, accept the invitation, then log off from your email, then try to log in into your Azure portal. You can share the screen. Okay, we'll guide you how to check it.
Okay, just a minute.
So Microsoft has provided you Visual Studio Enterprise subscription
because
I have cleared my MCT exam, Microsoft Certified Trainer. That's why.
Correct. So that cost is also paying by Microsoft itself.
Yes, yes. Microsoft is paying 10,000 rupees per month for this.
Okay. Beyond that, you have to pay.
Yes. No. I'm not going to pay. Microsoft is giving me 10,000 rupees per month to demonstrate all the labs. Okay.
Okay.
So this is.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. So this is your email address, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the invitation. You can see here.
You can accept it. Yeah. This is the option C, right? Accept. Click on accept. Okay, so once you accept it, you need to log off from your email. Okay, just accept. Okay, can you please log off from your portal? Okay, so you will get option as a sign out here. It's not reflecting completely. It's taking time. Okay, can you please click on my apps?
Yeah, it is loading. Not yet.
Okay. Yeah. So you need to log off from that particular window.
No apps found. Yeah. This is my apps.
Yes. No. Can you please click on SW here into right side as SW? Click on sign out. Yeah, click on sign out. Okay, now let's go into the portal for Azure portal.
Here?
Yes. Azure portal. Just type Azure portal and try to log in into the Azure portal.
Okay.
Azure portal. Okay, second link. No. Second link. You have some different. Yes. Now click on portal. So there is option portal. Okay. Now you need to use your account, which is swkulkarni@live.com.
This one.
Yes. This one. Okay. Now.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Now see, it is showing. Can you please see into the top corner? Cloud Techno Pune Outlook. This is my Active Directory. Yeah, this is my Active Directory. So I have provided the permission under my Active Directory to your existing account. Means आपके पास Gmail का ID है, Live ID है या Outlook ID है. So your ID, okay, I have added under my Azure Active Directory. Okay.
Right.
Now I wanted to show you one more thing which is very important. Now let's go into the Azure Active Directory. Search the Azure Active Directory. See, what is the importance here? You are not going to use any other password. You are going to use the same password which is configured with your email address, right, Swapnil?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the importance, because when you try to log in into the portal, Microsoft will take the authentication from live.com server. Okay.
No need to have two different passwords.
Exactly. So Azure Active.
Which option?
No. Just search Active Directory. Active Directory. Yes. Azure Active Directory. Second option. Okay. See, this is my Azure Active Directory, right? Okay. Now what you wanted to do? So are you using the same ID for your Azure Labs? Means आपके पास same ID आप use कर रहे हो या
नहीं अभी तक तो नहीं किया
अलग ID? Okay. So I wanted to give here one more scenario. If you are using a same ID, okay, for your lab, means already your user created under the another Active Directory, so you can check those Active Directory by using the switch tenant. So can you please click on switch tenant? Just click on switch tenant. Okay, see, it is showing here only one tenant, which is my tenant, right? Cloud Techno Pune. Okay, so let me share my screen and we'll give here one more scenario. Then you will get the idea.
Shall I stop then?
Yes, please. Okay, so scenario here is, let's take an example. You are working as a ISP and you are supporting to the multiple customers. Okay, you have multiple customers. All the small customers you are managing. You're managing their Azure infrastructure, right? You have multiple clients. So this is client A. This client B. This client C. The scenario, you're working as a L3 team in Wipro, right? And your ID, the abc.xyz@wipro.com. Okay. So what client A and client B and client C is saying, we will not create your different account. We will provide the permission on your existing account. Okay, as a guest user. So that client A has added a same account under client A Azure Active Directory. Okay, client B has also added a same account under the Azure Active Directory, and client C also added a same account under the Azure Active Directory, because client A का कुछ अलग Active Directory रहेगा, client B का Azure Active Directory का नाम अलग रहेगा, client C के पास भी कुछ अलग Active Directory रहेगा, right? So as a user, as an admin, when you log in into the Microsoft portal, you will get the 3 directories. Okay, let me show you. Okay, let me check if I can show you. Let me go into the Azure Active Directory. Switch tenant. Okay, so I have only one Active Directory. Okay, so when you click on switch tenant, you will get the 3 Active Directory: client A, client B, client C. So if you wanted to deploy virtual machine for client A, you need to click on client A. If you wanted to work for client B, you need to click on client B. Then you can deploy the infrastructure for client B. Now it's clear, or any question?
Yeah, clear.
So एक ही आईडी को मल्टीपल एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी में परमिशंस है, okay? And if you wanted to work for client C, you need to switch the directory every time. You need to switch the directory as per your requirement. So that scenario also I'm going to demonstrate you today only. Okay. So let's go into the portal. Okay, now we have discussed how to create a users, how to create a groups, and now we'll understand first how to provide the permission on subscription level. Okay. Now we have added.
Sorry, Yogesh, when you say groups, is it like BU in the Active Directory?
BU or OU?
OU, sorry.
No. OU is a different concept. Group is a different concept. Okay. Yeah. So there is no OU concept under the Azure Active Directory. Okay,
but then this group policy or something like that, then
no. See, there is no group policy concept at Azure Active Directory. There is a conditional policy concept. Okay, आपको जो Windows Active Directory में group policy होता है, right?
Right.
So group policy is not available into the Azure AD. Is a conditional policies. So mainly conditional policies you can integrate with the Office 365 product. So are you using Office 365?
Yes, that is the reason I'm asking, because for example, the traditional directories that we have OUs, like maybe different countries, different OUs.
Right.
So when it is synced with Azure AD, so it has got then, I mean, these OUs get dissolved, right?
Right. So you will get a complete user in a single list only.
Yeah.
But instead of the security group, you need to create a Office 365 group.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So so if you have Office 365, so I can give here one more scenario to you. Okay, you can log in to the Microsoft portal by using your company ID. आपके पास, okay. So what you will get as a scenario, you will get scenario as a like you will have the permission to log in into the portal with the normal user, okay, by using your Office ID, but you will not get the subscription permission.
Sorry, I didn't understand. You mean to say,
see,
if I create a normal user for myself?
No. Dekho, see, let's compare with your Office infrastructure. Okay, company ID. So your company is using Office 365 product, right?
Yes.
So you have one email address, abc.xyz@ your company domain name, right?
Right.
Okay, so you can try to log in on Microsoft portal by using your company account.
Right.
Okay, so जब आप login करोगे, then you will get all the details like as a user, means वो जो particular ID है उसको as a user के permissions है to log in into the Azure Active Directory, not global admin. Okay. Right. So when you click on subscription, you will not get anything because आपको जो permission दिया है वो सिर्फ Azure Active Directory level पे दिया है, subscription level पे नहीं दिया है. Okay. Yeah. So others can also try the same thing if you are using Office 365 product. Okay. So the next point, how we can provide the permission on subscription level. So let's go into the diagram first, and we'll understand how we can provide the permission. Okay. So permission can be a provide on subscription level, permission can be a provide on resource group level, and permission can be a provide on the resource level. Okay, so let's take an example. Like you are working as a Azure L2, L3. So in normal scenario, people are providing the permission on subscription level only. But now there is a one more scenario. Let's take an example. You are from Windows team, you are from Linux team, and you have created two different resource group. RG3 you created for the Windows VM. Okay, RG3 में आपने Windows VM create किया, Windows VM, and RG2 में आपने Linux VM create किया, Linux virtual machines, right? So I can provide a permission on RG2 level to my Linux team. I'm not going to provide on subscription level. So when you provide a permission on subscription level, it will get inherited automatically. This is a default behavior from Microsoft. अगर आप parent folder पे permission देते हो, so that permission is getting inherited, right, with the child folder as well. With the same way, when you provide the permission on subscription level, that user 100 can see RG1, RG2, RG3. But my requirement here is my Linux team should not see RG1 and RG3. That's why I'm going to provide the permission on RG2 level only. So it's clear, or any question?
And if you provide access for means if you give permissions in for a VM level, then he can only manage that VM.
Exactly. So that user can see only the virtual machine. That's it. User cannot see other virtual machine.
No, he can see other virtual machines.
No. I am going to provide a permission on only the virtual machine 1, not virtual machine 2.
No, but for example, in resource group 1, there are 10 virtual machines and you are given permission on level virtual machine. So he can manage that all 10, all 10 in the same RG group.
No. If you wanted to provide a permission on 10 virtual machines, then you need to provide a permission on resource group level.
Okay, so he can manage all VMs.
Yes. In that scenario, that user can manage a 10 virtual machine. But if you wanted to provide a permission on specific virtual machine level, then permission needs to be provided on particular virtual machine level only.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's go into the portal. It's very simple, it's not that much critical. Okay, now go to the subscription. Okay, as I have two subscriptions, so I will provide the permission on my Visual Studio subscription. Go to the IAM. So IAM tab you will get on each and every level. Okay, as per diagram, you will get the IAM tab on subscription level, you will get the IAM tab on resource group level, and you will get the IAM tab on resource level as well. So let's go here. This is my subscription. Okay, and assign role assignments, add role assignment. Okay, so select the role. So this is a predefined role from Microsoft, and you can have your own roles as well. But when you try under your subscription, you will not able to do it, because if you wanted to define the custom roles, in that scenario, your Azure Active Directory type should be a P1, P2, Premium 1, Premium 2. Okay, under the free Active Directory, you cannot define or design the roles. So let's take an example. I have one group, which is Azure monitoring group, and I wanted to provide only the virtual machine power on and power off permissions. So I can design that role. Okay, and I can provide a permission to that particular user. So the test role I have designed, okay, by my own, and I can provide the permission to my required users and groups as well. But if you wanted to design, okay, you should have that particular P1, P2. So what you can do, you can use a trial version of P1 and P2. So Microsoft is providing the 30 days trial. Okay, I will show you how to convert it basic to P1 or P2. So I wanted to provide here permission as a owner. Okay, and what is the group name? Wipro. Wipro L3 and save. Okay, so Swapnil, you can also try. Just log off and log in, and just check the subscription. You will get the subscription.
Okay.
Okay, so I can also try from user 101 because user 101, user 100, user 101, and SW Kulkarni @live.com. 3 IDs is a part of that particular Wipro group. So let's log in. Okay, so let's go into the subscription. Refresh once. Let's log off and log in once. Okay, let me check whether we have added or not. Go to the groups. Wipro members. Okay, so user 101 is not added. That's why it is not showing. Okay, let me add user 101 as well. 101. So let's log off and log in.
I also need to log off and log in because
Yes,
I cannot
yes.
see it.
Yes. You need to log off and log in. Yeah. Go to subscriptions and see. I can see user 101 can see the subscription, and user 101 can create a resources as well. Virtual machine or all the services can be created. So any question till, any doubt till here?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Yogesh, I can see now.
Okay. See, so with the same way, you can provide the permission to your users and groups. So when you deal with deal as a L3 or architect, okay. So the identity management you need to configure it, right? So you can create accounts, you can create the groups, you can provide the permission on subscription level, and your users can log in into the portal and they can manage your portal.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll take a break, 15-minute break, and then we'll understand the AD synchronization, and again we'll discuss the multiple scenario. So any question
Okay.
till any?
Yogesh, can you show us like how to give permission only on VM level?
Yeah. But see, currently we do not have any VM. So when we deploy the virtual machine, I will show you. Okay, just okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll we'll back in 15 minutes and then we'll discuss a pending topics. Okay, then we'll discuss here how to configure the MFA. Then we'll understand how we can create a multiple Azure Active Directories. Okay, and then we'll discuss the custom domain and Windows Active Directory synchronization as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll back in 15 minutes sharp. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, now we'll understand how we can configure the MFA on user level, and we'll understand how we can create a multiple Azure Active Directory, means multiple tenants under the single account. Okay, and then we will discuss on custom domain, and we'll discuss how we can synchronize Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory. So let's go into the portal. So this is user 101, sign out. Okay. So let's go into the Azure Active Directory, and under Azure Active Directory, go to the users tab, and under the user, there is option. Once we select it here, we can enable the multi-factor authentication. So once you click here, you will get the one more tab, and under the tab, we need to enable the MFA option. See, it is showing enable. So user 101, user 100. Okay. Now one more point I wanted to highlight. See, now we have added a two type of users, right? We have added as a guest user and we have added as a normal user. But when you try to enable the MFA for your guest user, we cannot. See, it is showing disabled. Okay. So let's enable for 100, enable for 101 as well. Okay, so if you are adding the user, or if you are using the users, okay, which is guest user, where you cannot enable the MFA. So how we can use it? So once you enable the MFA from the admin console during the first login of that user, so this is 101, right? During the first login, your user 100 needs to be configure the MFA. Next. See, automatically that window is getting redirected to your additional security verification. So like you have multiple options. You can use the authentication of with the phone or mobile app as well, which is Microsoft Authenticator. You can use it. So let's select here authentication. Which region? India, which is 91 766493310. This is my number, and I'm going to use a message authentication. Method will be the text message. Okay, go to next. So we'll receive one. I have received one SMS. It is 384439. Verify. Done. Okay, so user has configured that particular MFA. Okay, now every time that user needs to be provide a verification ID. User 101. Password. And see, Microsoft is asking the one more verification, okay, which is 442357. Say yes. Okay, so this is the MFA, multi-factor authentication. Again, your multi-factor authentication we are using as a service. So we are not configured any server. But if your multi-factor authentication server licenses, you can use your own MFA as well. Like for example, you can use a third-party tool, which is OneLogin. You can use Microsoft tool as well, which is ADFS. So you can use ADFS. You can use third-party application as well. So any question till, any doubt till?
Yogesh, can you again show how did you arrive on this option of MFA?
Yeah, so let's select your user where you wanted to enable the MFA. Okay, and go to the multi-factor authentication. So once you click on multi-factor authentication, okay, you will get the one more tab here. You need to select that option and you need to enable it.
Okay. So when you say that, for example, in case of my email address, you cannot assign the multi-factor authentication.
Right.
But in case of, let's say, my real scenario, wherein I have my office domain email address,
right,
which is also having multi-factor authentication. So this is maybe because of this ADFS service.
Yes, due to ADFS. So 99% people are using the ADFS only.
Okay.
Yogesh, on this portal, only we can select one user at a time, right?
Yes.
If we want to enable multiple users at one time, then
if you wanted to enable for multiple user, then you need to configure or you need to enable or disable via PowerShell only.
Okay.
And what is that option in above bulk update?
Bulk update. Let's check. So you can change ID or something here. Okay, you can download a sample file, you can update, and again you need to upload that file. So let's take an example. You wanted to change the company name of 100 users. Okay. So that CSV file template you will get, and under the template you need to provide it required information, and again you need to upload it here. Okay. So let's go into the next option, like how we can have a multiple tenant. So currently we have only a single tenant. Okay, and let's create a tenant, create a Azure Active Directory. So I'm going to create a Azure Active Directory. So let's see, my organization is HDFC, and I'm going to create a Active Directory. See, on Microsoft.com, it remains same every time. When you create a tenant, when you create a Azure Active Directory, your parent domain will remain same every time. Okay, so HDFC, which is in already used, I believe. See, already in used by other directory. So let's take an example, HDFC 3000. See, which is available. So my client from India region. So I'm going to select here India. Okay. See, when you select here India, so data center location is based on your country and region selected above. Means when you select here India, your directory is getting created in India data center. Okay, for the security purpose. So let's go here and let's create it. So you can compare with our example now. Okay, so I have only a single Active Directory. Okay, I have only a single Active Directory. Now I have created a one more Active Directory here under the same account. Okay, which is my HDFC 300 dot on Microsoft.com. Okay, so under the single account, I have two Active Directories. So this is the logical segregation. You will get the logical segregation between two directories. So your HDFC directory cannot communicate with your default directory. Default directory cannot communicate with the HDFC directory. Okay, and under that Azure Active Directory, you can have the subscription. You can have the subscription. Let's say single subscription. And under subscription, you can have a resource group. Under resource group, you can deploy the virtual machines. Okay, so let's go into the portal. So directory is getting created, and how we can see the directory. Switch tenant. See, HDFC. Now this is my second directory. Okay, so I can go into the HDFC, I can switch it. So how to switch it? Switch tenant. Let's select, till it is loading. Okay, now there is a one more option. Okay, let me log off and log in once. It is not reflected completely. See, now I can see here two directories. This is my default directory where I have a two subscription, and now I have one more directory which is HDFC. So like into the last scenario we have discussed, right? Multiple customers. So when you log in by your user ID, you will get the multiple directories here, and you need to switch the directory. So let's switch into the HDFC. And now if you search here as a subscription, you will not get anything here. See, there is no subscription. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so under the HDFCC, this is my directory, HDFC directory. So under HDFC directory, there is no subscription. Okay, there is no subscription. So as per diagram, we need to add a subscription under that directory. So how we can add the subscription? Go to the portal. There is option add, and we can add the subscription here. Okay, see free trial. Okay, Microsoft is not offering free trial on my account, so I can add here a pay as you go subscription, and I can add here some student subscription as well. Okay, so any question till any question, any doubt? Directly we can switch it. How we can switch? Go to the old one. Okay, go to old one, and we can delete the HDFC tenant which we have created. How we can delete it? Go to the Azure Active Directory, or directly we can delete from the tenant as well. Okay, switch tenant. Okay. Go to Azure Active Directory. And there is an option to delete it. Let's delete the tenant. Okay, so by default, there is no permission to delete the directory. So we need to provide the permission. Okay, say yes, save. Refresh. Delete. Okay, let's go to the our default directory now. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll deploy one virtual machine here, Windows 2K12 machine, and then we'll understand like how we can synchronize the Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory. Okay, so for that, I'm going to deploy one Windows machine. Okay, let me delete the existing infrastructure. Okay, so let's create a one resource group, Active Directory. So this is my AD server, and I'm going to deploy under the East US 2K12 R2 B2S admin 100 is a normal machine I'm going to deploy for the Active Directory.
Yogesh,
Yes.
You spoke about the write back option when you
Yes.
change the password.
Yes.
So it will.
Yes.
So it was about the on-premises and Azure.
Yes. 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 We will discuss that scenario as well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's understand the scenario. Why we are going to synchronize Windows Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory. So scenario here is like I have on-premises data center. I have Azure infrastructure. So few services are running under the on-premises data center. Okay, and I have one Windows Active Directory. So this is Windows Server. Windows AD. Okay, and into the Azure side, I have Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory with a default name. What is the default name? We have, go to Home, Azure Active Directory. So this is our default name, default domain name. Okay. So everything is running by using that particular default name. Okay. I have not synchronized my Windows Active Directory users and users groups and password with the Azure AD because as we discussed into the first scenario, I have created a few user under that Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and my users, my admin can log in into the portal and they can manage the Azure infrastructure. But now what is the important, what is the next component here? My management is asking to deploy Office 365. Office 365. Okay. So management is asking to deploy Office 365 product. So for the email, okay. So this is the email solution which Microsoft is offering, Office 365, right? So under your Azure Active, under your Windows Active Directory, here you have around 10,000 users. You have some 200 groups. Okay. So what is the first approach? Okay. What is the first approach? What you can do? You can create a 10,000 users under Azure Active Directory. This is the first approach, right? You can create a 10,000 users under the Azure Active Directory, and then you can configure the Office 365 product. But in that scenario, a single user needs to be managed 2 ID and 2 passwords. So this is a one ID. This is the first ID, okay, to log in into the Windows machine, and this is the second ID to log in into the your email box, right? So what my management is asking to configure the single sign-on SSO or the same ID, same password. They are looking into the Microsoft Office 365 product as well. Okay, so if you have any user ID here, let's see, abc.xyz@cloudtechno.co.in, right? So the same ID, same password needs to be synchronized with under your Azure Active Directory, and then your Office 365 product can fetch the same ID and password, because Office 365 is not integrating with the Windows Active Directory directly. It will integrate with the Azure Active Directory. It will fetch the required details from Azure Active Directory, and from Azure Active Directory it will get authenticate. So till clear or any question? So it's clear or any question? Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to deploy one more Windows machine as a best practice. So I can have Azure AD Connect on Windows Active Directory server as well, but which is not a recommended way. So I'm going to deploy one more server. I'm going to deploy one more server. Okay, which is Windows Server. So I will join that virtual machine into the domain. The domain is nothing but cloudtechno.co.in. And on top of that server, we are going to deploy one agent. And that agent is nothing but Azure AD Connect. Azure AD Connect. So Azure AD Connect is a communicator between your on-premises Windows Active Directory and Azure Active Directory. Okay, so Azure AD Connect is a communicator. So your Azure AD Connect will communicate with the Windows AD and it will communicate with the Azure AD as well. Okay, so what is the prerequisites to configure or to synchronize your Windows AD accounts and users passwords with Azure Active Directory? The first prerequisite, your domain name should be a verified. Your domain name should be a verified. So cloudtechno.co.in, right? So your domain name should be verified under the Azure Active Directory. So let's go into the portal. Now, in our scenario, we have Azure Active Directory. Go to the custom domain name, and we have added the, okay, we need to add a custom domain name, which is cloudtechno.co.in. So if you are using Office 365 product in your office, just try to log in into the Azure portal. Okay, and let's go into the custom domain name. You will get all the domains added under your Azure account. You can cross check. So cloudtechno.co.in, add domain. Okay, so as a verification, what I need to do, I need to create a one text record under the my control panel. So let me log in into the godaddy.com. Okay, so I'm already logged in here. Account. So cloudtechno.co.in. This is the domain. Go to the DNS. So under DNS, I'm going to create one text record for the verification. Okay. So let's add a TXT record. This is the value. Host will be the @ as per the, see, host will be the @ and text value will be the required. So it should replicate into the, it will take 10 to 15 minutes, okay, to verify it. Okay, so let's click on verify. Okay, so what we will do, meanwhile we'll deploy the Windows Active Directory. Okay, this is the AD server we have deployed. Now before that, we'll deploy one more virtual machine to deploy the Azure AD Connect. So I'm going to create, select the same resource group, AD Connect. ES2S, Windows 2K12 R2, B2S, admin 100. So the same lab I can perform in my physical data center as well. Okay. Standard disk and deploy the virtual machine. Okay, so let's go into the Active Directory server, and meanwhile we'll deploy the AD server with cloudtechno.co.in. my virtual machine. Okay, so let me convert the IP address dynamic to static, because when we deploy Active Directory, that IP needs to be converted into the static one. Go into the portal. Okay, so let's add the role. Active Directory domain services. Stop. Okay, meanwhile, we can try to verify it. Okay. Okay, still it is not verified. It will take some time. Okay. So we'll prepare the infra and then we'll re-verify. Okay, so let's promote this server as an Active Directory, cloudtechno.co.in. Recovery password. Okay, so your name should be the same, okay, which we have verified on top of Azure Active Directory. Deploy, install it. Okay, so the machine is getting rebooted. Now what we'll do, meanwhile, we'll configure the DNS at on other machine where we are going to deploy the Azure AD Connect. So as per diagram, like we have two servers, right? So that machine we are going to join into the domain, okay? And to join into the domain, we need to configure the DNS as well. So what is the IP address of AD server, which is 10.0.0.4. So this is the IP address, and that IP address will act as a DNS. DNS server. Save. Take the RDP of Azure AD Connect server. ipconfig. So ipconfig/all. So DNS is not replicated here, right? So we need to ipconfig renew. And ipconfig/all. Yes, this is a DNS, okay, and we can join our machine into the domain now. Right click, properties, and simply change the domain. cloudtechno.co.in. So admin 100 is the username and this is the password. Okay, so again, what is the requirement here to deploy the Azure AD Connect? So we would require 2 user IDs. Restart now. So let's go into the diagram. So this is our diagram, right? So I need here 2 user accounts. So I need a one domain admin from Windows Server. Okay, and I need one global admin from Azure Active Directory. Okay, so we require 2 accounts, one account from Windows Active Directory, one account from Azure Active Directory, because this is a communicator between Windows AD and Azure AD, right? So what we'll do, we'll log in into the Windows machine, Windows Active Directory. We'll create some groups, we'll create some users, we'll create some OUs, and then we'll deploy the Azure AD Connect. So let's take a RDP. Now I need to log in as a cloud admin, right? So cloud techno /admin 100. And from Active Directory, I can take the RDP of the AD Connect with the local IP address. .0.0.5. So this is Azure AD Connect. Okay, so meanwhile we'll create a groups users dsa.msc. So verification, yes, my domain is verified now, and I can see here cloudtechno.co.in. I can see here my default domain as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to convert my custom domain as a primary domain. See, so currently my primary domain is my default directory. So let's go here and make as a primary. Okay, now let's create some users. Right click, new OU, say Azure, or we can say here Office 365. Okay, and under that I'm going to create one multiple users. Admin 100. Okay, so admin 100 is already under use. Okay, so admin, let's say 500. Password. Okay, let's password never expire. Let's leave it. Okay, let's create a one more user, 501. Next. Okay, now we have created a users. So my requirement here is I wanted to synchronize that particular OU, okay, with the Azure Active Directory. So let's go into the our Azure AD Connect machine, and simply we can download the agent from internet. Before that, I need to disable the IE security policy. Azure AD Connect. So you can have Azure AD Connect with the redundancy model as well. Okay, I will give a small introduction on that part as well, like how we can maintain the redundancy, because there is a single point of failure, right? When you go into the diagram, let's take an example. If there is an issue with that server, so your Windows AD will not communicate with the Azure Active Directory, right? So that's why we can have a two servers, okay, in a staging mode, okay, to maintain the redundancy. Download. Save.
In Azure portal, actually, there is a also option for downloading
Yes,
Azure AD.
yes. So the same link you can copy. Okay, you can copy that link and you can paste it and you can download it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this is Azure AD Connect. Okay. So let's accept the agreement. Go to continue. Okay. Now see there are two options: customize and user express setting. So what Microsoft is doing in the backend, Microsoft is deploying a SQL as well in the backend to maintain the database. Okay. So I'm not going to use express one. I'm going to use the customize where I can explain a few required options. Go to the customize. Okay. So we can change the custom installation location. If you have existing SQL server, you can use that existing SQL server as well. In that scenario, Microsoft will not install a SQL Express instance on your Azure AD Connect server. Okay. You can specify the custom sync groups. Let's install. So I'm not going to change here. This is the all the default options. Okay. Okay, now into the next option, Microsoft is asking which synchronization mechanism you wanted to use, okay, with the password. So there are two options: password hash synchronization and pass-through synchronization. So when you select the first option, by default, what Microsoft Azure Active Directory will do, Microsoft Azure Active Directory will hold the ID and password. Okay, so during the authentication of Office 365 or any user authentication, that user will get authenticated from the Windows, from the Azure Active Directory only. Now in second option, Microsoft Azure AD will not hold the password. Azure AD will hold only the user ID. For the authentication purpose, again, same request is getting forwarded to your Windows Active Directory, and from Windows Active Directory, it will get authenticated. So any doubt till between two options? First password hash and second pass through. Any question till? Okay, so in our lab, I'm going to deploy password hash synchronization with the single sign-on. So if you have ADFS, then you need to configure the ADFS as well. Okay, so in our scenario, we do not have any Active Directory federation. So Microsoft is asking connect to Azure AD. So here we need to provide a global admin credentials, user ID and password. So in our scenario, we have one account with the global admin permission. So that account is nothing but admin account. Go to users. Admin account. Password. Okay, now add, see, this is our Active Directory, right? cloudtechno.co.in, add directory. Now Microsoft is asking a user ID of Windows side, Windows Active Directory, to create a service accounts. Okay, so cloud techno slash admin 100 and password. Say okay. Go to next. So if you select Express one, Microsoft will not ask all the options. Okay. So now Microsoft is showing verified. Azure AD domain is verified. Why it is showing verified? Because we have added the custom domain name under the Azure Active Directory. See, this is the custom domain name, and cloudtechno.co.in, it is showing as a verified. That's why on server as well, it is showing verified. Next. So I can select the specific OU for the synchronization, but I'm not going to select the specific OU. I wanted to synchronize all the users from my Active Directory. If you wanted to select a specific OU, you can select the specific OU as well. You can select here, you can go and see, you can select the specific OU as well. So I do not have ADFS, so I'm not going to do any changes here. Filtering, you can do the filtering as well. You can exclude some users, you can exclude some groups as well if you don't want. Okay, see, this is the option, password write back. So what we'll do, I will not enable password write back here. Okay, we'll demonstrate one more scenario and then we will enable the password write back option. Okay, go to next. Start the synchronization once it is complete. Install.
Yogesh, I'm just assuming that there is no connection established in the on-premises and for this Office 365. So all
Exactly,
these
exactly. All
and
the, yeah, all the
application
traffic, yeah, all the
agent
traffic routed via internet only.
and using this agent, right? AD
Yes, yes,
Connect.
yes, yes, yes. Using the uh, AD Connect agent. Yes. Okay, so it will take 5 to 10 minutes to replicate all the users and groups. So we have not created any groups, just we have created 2 users. So those 2 users we can see on Microsoft portal. So let's go into the portal, go to the users tab. See, user 100 and 100 we have created manually. See, Microsoft has created one account on premises directory synchronized service. So this is a service account we can say. So by using that service account, your Azure AD Connect is synchronizing the Windows AD user ID password with the Azure Active Directory. So it will take 5 to 10 minutes to show all the IDs here. Okay, see, those users we can see here, admin 500 and admin 501. So what is the difference here? Directory synced, yes, means those two users synchronize from the Windows Active Directory. Okay, so user 100 and user 101, it is showing no, means this is a local user which is created under the Azure Active Directory. So let's go into the admin 500 user. See, that user we cannot delete it. Okay, and when you try to reset the password, that password we cannot reset it. See, Microsoft is asking to configure the write back. Okay, so from portal you cannot reset the password because that account is getting synchronized from the Windows Active Directory. So it's clear, or any question? Any question, any doubt till? Is very important to understand. Is very important to clear the interview as well. So any doubt till?
No.
Pallavi, any question? Vishaka, any question from your side?
No, Yogesh, good for now.
So, yeah, you got the concept right, which we have
Yes.
discussed. Users, groups, AD connect.
Yes.
Samir, Vishnu, any question?
No, Yogesh.
Okay. So let's go into the AD Connect server now, and now we are going to enable that feature, which is write back. So how we can enable it? It's very simple. Let's go with the option Azure AD Connect. So this is my AD Connect server. So this is the real-time scenario. Okay, when you go into the production, you have to do the same thing. There is no difference. Okay, go to configure, and write back option you will get under synchronization option only, I believe. Let me check. Next. Okay, so enable the password write back. Okay, and configure. Exit. Okay, so it will take 2 to 5 minutes to synchronize with the portal. Go to users, admin. Okay, so let's wait. It will synchronize with the Azure portal, and then we can reset the password from the portal. So any doubt, any question till? Okay, so you can try at your end, but definitely it will work. Okay, it will take 5 to 10 minutes to replicate here. So any question, any doubt till?
Yogesh, if you change the user password from the Windows AD, does it will sync for Office 365 products?
Yes, 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 yes. See, when you change the, yeah, let's go to diagram. So when you change the password from user side, it will get synchronized with the Office 365 product as well. And when you
And if
change the, yeah, when you change the password during the email login, so that same password will get synchronized with your Windows Active Directory as well, vice
but
versa.
if we such scenario like if I change password for Windows 80 with the Windows 80, it should work only with the laptop or desktop login purpose only. It should not change for the Office 365 products. Can we do that?
So yeah, in that scenario, then you need to create a separate user for Office 365 product.
Okay.
Okay, means you are going to manage two users and two passwords,
Okay.
right? Let me try one more time. Right back, if I can use, go to 500, reset the password. No, it will take some time to reflect here. Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, and next Saturday we will connect. So we are pending with the last service, which is Azure AD domain service. And meanwhile, we'll understand 2-3 points from Azure Active Directory, like how we can add the devices under the Azure Active Directory, how we can manage the devices. So those topics we will cover with the Azure AD domain services, and then we'll start the Azure storage account topic, storage account and backup. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. So we'll meet next Saturday at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.